Why isn't this movie The Town? Why isn't this movie The Town? Hey, you're here.
Oh, what is that? I'm gay. I'm your host, Outrageous Tyler.
Boy, you sure are outrageous.
Tyler, you're outrageous. You dirty little mud grub.
It is definitely a mid-movie. gay.
Birdman in the flesh, The Brutalist not in the flesh, The Future of Robert Eggers, and the Academy Awards shit the bed.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call. Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And no Tyler over there today.
Yeah.
Instead, we have, of course, the Rizzler in his place.
Yeah.
Because he's a big fan.
What does Rizzler do? Do they bring something?
He watches them eat the cookies and the chicken bakes.
Don't they bring the boom, though?
Oh, yeah, they also do that. I don't know if he's...
I think he's just there when the broom is brought.
Yeah.
I think AJ and Big Justice, they bring the boom.
Yeah, and
And
he supplements it.
The Rizzler brings the paper plates.
Yeah, he supports the boom. But yeah, no Tyler today. He says he might have a case of the vid.
The Rona.
Yeah, it's in 2025. Come on, man.
I hate that the vid has become the shortened version of that because that's what people call like the HIV is HIV.
Oh yeah.
So whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh fuck,
He's got sounds
shit.
serious.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got the COVID corona.
maybe. Yeah, we
virus.
don't know yet.
Allegedly, he could be totally fine for all we know. He just didn't want to
He
come.
could just be. Yeah, he could just be stressed out.
playing hooky.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, I'm Joseph. I don't know if I said that already. We have a great show for you today. Welcome everyone YouTube live in the chat. We got an active chat already.
Our murderers row. Speaking of sickness, Dan's better. Well, at least a little bit better. He was out.
On the mend.
Rough.
On the mend, he says.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Jack's celebrating Australia Day in bed.
Yeah.
You know what that means.
Is Australia Day? Is it?
It's today.
Today is Australia Day?
It technically lands today, but he says since it's on a Sunday, fake news.
Is
It's
it like-
Saturday, you fool?
Is it their independence?
Pretty much.
Okay.
He says it's very contentious, just like Columbus Day is here.
Oh, okay.
Boomers are like, it's great. And then most everyone's like, well, you know, we did almost genocide an entire population of Aboriginal natives.
Crikey. And also thank you to the OG Audio only classmates who are listening still
Yeah.
exclusively in podcast land.
You know what's funny is we've since we moved to the YouTube right around this time last year, we get a fair amount of views and listens or whatever you want to call them. Hours watched is how they rank it on YouTube, and we get the quite a few people come in and out of the live stream.
I cut out the Rizzler. Go back
Yeah,
to
thank you. get him out of here. But we still get pretty much the same amount of downloads from before too, which is interesting. I don't know. I stopped sending the stats to you guys
Yeah.
because it's like
Nothing
just-
changed.
It's just, and we're really focusing more on the video than the audio. But
Yeah, we're approaching 1,000 subscribers.
yeah. We're at let's see what the number is right now.
It's like 918.
918. You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
918.
Yeah.
We hit 1,000. We'll do something fun. I don't know. We'll see.
Something. We'll go create. Tyler would take his shirt off.
Yeah. We're gonna reenact the water polo picture.
Yeah. We'll take the cameras down to the pool.
Yeah.
A pool.
Yeah.
The public pool.
I think we should do an outdoor event at that point, like record at the park or something.
Oh God! What? I get our Starlink or something?
Oh, Starlink?
What would we have to do?
I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll figure it out. I'll daisy chain some
Hotspot our phones.
Yeah, well, we have the park right across the street from here.
Yeah.
I'll just daisy chain like mobile hotspots or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, here we are on TikTok. Did not go away.
It went
So-
away for like a couple hours.
like less than 12 hours.
Yeah.
So not moving to China.
Dear glorious leader, we're very sad that we won't be relocating our headquarters now to
the mainland, China,
What's that province?
the People's Republic.
No, there's. I was gonna say. I know I know the name of one province in China where the Apple factory is located.
Oh,
I used to know, and I don't remember now. I don't want to guess because then that sounds offensive.
Okay. So we're staying here in the States. Fortunately for all of you guys, you don't have to get any VPNs to watch us.
Oh shit! If we moved to China, no one would be able to hear us except for people in China.
And an inauguration of some sorts happened. And
let's not talk about that.
Also, it's been a
that.
bad week on multiple facets.
Yeah.
On that end, and then we have the Oscar nominations, which were disappointing in many ways.
Yeah,
but I mean.
People are saying
it's hard to say that it's not disappointing in some aspects every year, you know. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about mostly today, I think.
Yeah,
because there's a lot to discuss about it.
Yeah, you want to get into it,
and then some tumultuous things as well. But yeah, so let's get into some gab and chatter.
Find some charity in ye, lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter movie news, things to talk about that are movie related. Pete?
Yeah,
I guess.
I'll start.
Yeah, go for it.
First off, Bruce is in the chat too. Hi, Bruce. What's up, buddy? Heather, Dan, Jack, and no Angry Otter yet.
No.
But all of our friends in the chat, come say hi if you're not already watching us on live. Okay, so I wanted to talk about an event that I went to last Sunday. And it was a Christmas gift from Joseph. It was a Birdman Live, Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, live at the Sacramento Crest Theater. And it was performed with as we know, we covered on the show, most of the score for that movie is just like a one jazz set, like a sloppy jazz set. I don't know, maybe like a 8-piece or something, sort of jazz setup, jazz drum setup. And it was supposed to be performed live with a live drummer doing along with it, which I thought, great, that's super cool. The Crest, for the people who aren't in the area, is a historic theater. It's the classic look with the little box office in the front that really isn't used anymore. You buy your tickets inside or online or whatever. But very classic, huge marquee on the front that runs up like the front that looks like a 1950s sort of
the Majestic.
The Majestic or something like that. Beautiful. So we have two in Sacramento that are kind of landmark classic theaters. There's the Tower and the Crest.
Yeah, and the Crest is like they do more than just screenings.
Yeah,
like the Tower Theater is a movie theater specifically. Yeah, and the Crest is like there's like stand up performs there, concerts, movies, film festivals in the past.
They diversify. They have Adam Murphy's done some kind of like VHS screenings there, I believe.
Yeah, he's done one.
Yeah. And I saw some posters for similar sort of things, VHS Fest or something like that.
And they play like Hitchcock movies, like classic movies like that. Like we saw Alien.
I saw Aliens there.
I saw Alien or Aliens, one of them. I think it was with you.
Yeah, it was Aliens.
Aliens, yeah. We saw that at the Crest.
When she comes out with the loader in the loader suit and says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
Yeah.
The audience went wild. It was such a great group audience experience.
It's a grand theater, even the inside. It's very ornate on the top. Mm-hmm. It's like any sort of old concert venue.
Just not very comfortable. You're not going to get big cushy recliner seats there.
The seats are of
the era.
Vintage as well.
so anyways, I got the tickets for that. It was a set of 2. Brianna was not going to commit to that because she hates group events and like tight quarters and things like that, and she's staying away, still like very cautious about COVID precautions. So I respect that. Joseph wasn't available to do it, and Tyler is not an option. So I took my mom, the person who got me to fall in love with movies in the first place, as a young child, and she had never seen Birdman before and had wanted to, and she gets limited time to watch movies anymore, and she doesn't go out to see them in theaters very often, and at home her boyfriend is not a huge movie fan, as far as he likes to watch like shitty action movies and stuff, and really not,
whatever's playing on TNT.
Kinda, yeah. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 5.
Okay.
So she doesn't really get to kind of flex her cinephile muscles very often, and so we got to see Birdman together in theater with a live jazz drummer. And I thought it was just a local day player. It was just going to be, somebody from the Sacramento,
Just contracted out.
yeah, like a contract, like a studio player or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that. What it was the actual composer and the guy that performed the actual score. I'm trying to look up his name
Antonio,
right now. I want to make sure I get it right. I think it's Antonio
like Sanchez or
Sanchez. I think it is Antonio Sanchez, but let me confirm that. Top cast. Why can't I?
It'd be
find
under
full
the.
cast?
It'd be under the cast.
It's under cast.
Like go scroll below the people and it'll
Oh,
see
there
like
it is. All
full.
cast and crew. There
Yeah.
it is. I thought it was at the top. So it is, yes. Writing credits, cast. Damn, they really have no respect for this dude. Way down at the bottom. Antonio Sanchez. You got it. So Antonio Sanchez comes on stage. First, we got there like 20 minutes early, and it was completely empty. I thought, this is really sad.
It's just gonna be you and your mom.
It really. I was like, I'm down for that. But I was like, this guy, whoever it was, I didn't know it was Antonio Sanchez at the time. I was like, this guy's gonna be playing to like 4 people in the audience. It filled in pretty good. It ended up being mostly a packed house.
Okay.
But he came out on stage and addressed the audience, and he told the story about how he got hooked up with Iñárritu.
Mm-hmm.
So Antonio Sanchez grew up in Mexico City. So did Alejandro González Iñárritu.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that at that time, when he was a young man, he was obsessed with rock music, The Doors, and who else did he say? The Doors and Creedence Clearwater Revival, and some like other like kind of rock, maybe newer rock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that Iñárritu was a radio DJ at the time at his local Mexico City radio station. So there was like a night show that he would do where he could play off the beaten path sort of stuff. And I want to find out. Let's see. Antonio Sanchez jazz band. He was in a band that was Pat Metheny. That's it. So he was driving along and he hears this jazz song on the radio that was spun by Alejandro Iñárritu. And it was the Pat Metheny band. And he said, I've never heard anything like it before. It opened my eyes to what music could be. I thought rock music was the pinnacle of music, and I still love it, but jazz really stole my heart that night. And after the song came on, he was Iñárritu as a DJ, and he said, that was the Pat Metheny band, so-and-so song, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward 6 years, the guy moves to America. Another few years, he moves to New York City, and he starts playing for the Pat Metheny band as their drummer.
Oh.
So he followed basically that direct path from that A to B to be the drummer for the Pat Metheny band, and he toured with them for many, many years. And one of their shows for the Pat Metheny band was in L.A. Everybody knew that industry people were going to be there, and he performed this set. And he says that the set that they were performing at the time on tour was a single song that was an hour and a half long.
Oh,
It was a non-breaking, non-stopping song for
very prog rock of them.
Yes. Jazz, I mean, I'm telling you, people don't really give jazz the credit it's because there's so many different subsections of jazz. There's shitty soft rock jazz like Kenny G and stuff that everybody kind of shits on, but there's a time and place for that. And then there's progressive modern jazz and the soft core jazz, and and then there's some really experimental shit. And he says it was an hour and a half song. They'd take a break and they'd come back and they'd do another hour and a half of music.
Oh,
So it was like a 3-hour set
okay.
everywhere they toured across the country. And so he's finished with this set. He's dripping sweat. Imagine a drummer drumming for 3 hours straight. And he goes through the kind of chill area where the after party is, trying to get to his room. And he's like, I'm trying to avoid these people. And it's all these celebrities. And it's like, I just don't even want to talk to anybody. And Iñárritu taps him on the shoulder, not knowing who he is, and basically says, hey, man, love you. Great set. You've really ripped on the drums. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Da, 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 da. Anyways, I got to go. And he goes, hey, we should talk sometime. I'm a big jazz guy, and I'm really into I'm not just a industry dude. I'm more of a jazz guy. And he goes, yeah, okay, whatever. Not knowing it, Iñárritu, just trying to get away.
Yeah.
And eventually he's nice, and he goes, so what do you do? Are you in the industry? He goes, yeah, I'm a director. Oh, you done anything I've seen before? And he goes, oh, yeah, Morris Peros and 21 Grams. And he's like, fuck, this is Iñárritu. I know this guy. He's from my hometown. This is the DJ I grew up listening to, who now is this accomplished or a director.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, they become friends and they keep in touch via email. Anytime he's on the East Coast, he hangs out with Sanchez. If anytime the Sanchez is on the West Coast, he goes and do something, grab coffee or whatever. And he says some years later, he just got a phone call out of the blue and said it was Iñárritu, called us on his personal cell. And he says he never calls. It was always email. So he picked up the phone and he just said, I'm writing a song. All right, I'm writing a movie. I need a score. I want you to do the score. And he'd never done a score before. So he's like, immediately, yes. And then it said, as soon as he hung up the phone, he's like, holy fuck, what did I just agree to? I don't know anything about writing a score, and I'm just a drummer. What do I know about writing a full composition for music?
Yeah.
And then later on, he told him it's just a drum.
It's just a drum
Just
score.
a drum. And the whole process about how they came up with the music together is fascinating. He overnighted him a script to his house in New York City. He listened to it and he said, send me in a couple days, send me like some samples of what you were thinking. And he sent him, he recorded a bunch of stuff, sent it to Iñárritu, and he said, I love it. It's nothing like what I want though. I love it. Great stuff, but wrong. So let's get together.
And it's all based off the script.
It's just a script.
Okay.
And he's like, and he said, he told me it was a dark comedy. And I realized as soon as I finished reading the script, I hadn't laughed once. So I clearly didn't understand what the movie was trying to get.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what the music was trying to be. And again, this is Antonio Sanchez, who was the composer. And he, so they fly out to LA. He does a studio session, and he says it was him and Iñárritu, and Iñárritu read the script scene by scene with him and explained what each scene meant while he sat on his drums. And he says, "Okay, I want to read through it, and now I'm going to do it again, and I want you to play along and just freestyle, just improv the whole thing." And he's like, "Okay, great, let's do it." They did it through one time, and he goes, "It's too clean. It's too good. Can you fuck up? Can you fuck up the sound a little bit?
Slop it up."
Yeah. So he detuned his pieces, all his toms, his skins and whatnot. Detuned everything, kind of slopped up everything, loosened up the snare so it's a little sloppier, less tight. Put some T-shirts and pillows and stuff all inside and on top of the pieces, and played through it again. And he said they did that for like 6 hours, playing until he got the sound, and then they recorded something, and then he said, "Okay, we're still shooting right now, so when I have a finished movie, we're going to do it again." And they basically did the exact same thing again with the fully done movie.
Interesting.
So it was really interesting to hear all this behind the scenes stuff from the man himself, who ended up winning a Grammy for this and ended up going on to score many more movies and TV shows since then.
Okay.
So now it's like that's his bread and butter.
Nice.
But yeah, really cool.
And his off time, he's touring.
He said he's been doing this tour for 10 years.
Really?
The movie came out for 11 years ago. And he said as soon as it was nominated for Oscars, the studio said, "We need to capitalize on this. You want to drum up some publicity? You want to do some live performances?" He's like, "Sure, as long as I get paid." And he said, "No discredit to the people that did this 10 years ago, but this show is much better now. I played this. I watched this movie. I couldn't even count how many times. I know every line of every dialogue.
Yeah.
I know where the cues are, where to start and where to stop. And it was fucking fantastic.
Okay.
It was really good. Like
Awesome.
all the drum fills and the rolls and the like progression up to the energy that matched the scene, stopping right when the character was stopping.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like the intro of the movie when it's just the text, the letters and the text appearing on the screen.
It was perfect.
And it's like, it sounds so like random and chaotic, as jazz is. And to have that musical, you have the musical ear of timing, right? And then you have drumming, jazz drumming specifically, and then you have it to be timed with something that is appearing on screen.
It was great.
Like to be in sync with that is insane.
It was so good. And he played through the entire movie. There is a couple of long stretches where there's no drum.
Yeah.
And he got up and took a break and got some water and came back, walking around stage a little bit, sat back down.
He's just mingling.
Yeah, exactly. And then he played all the way through the credits, because the credits go out the same way they come in.
Yeah.
Sloppy in, sloppy out. And then when the scroll of the credits happened, it was like a 3-minute long solo. And then he continued the solo for another 5 minutes.
Really?
It was like an 8-minute long solo at the end of the movie. And I've never sat through a movie where 100% of the audience stayed till the credits were over and an additional 5 minutes. Everyone was just sitting there watching. And like the people right in front of us got up in 1 second, because part of the part of the solo at the end felt similar to a Buddy Rich style Whiplash, where he brings it down to a very simple
Just
drum mechanic. Yeah, just and he was actually playing on the frame of the drums too.
oh really?
He was like tapping his between like two drum holders,
Okay.
like ticking,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. And he was using the drum head to squeak the cymbal in certain parts.
Oh really?
It was really crazy and like experimental. And they got up for a second, and then it went into a full on roll, and they immediately sat down and looked ashamed. It was really something else. So great Christmas gifting.
Yeah, that sounds like it was awesome. Deanna and I are going to the Labyrinth live score.
Very cool.
Yeah, so same theater, same thing, same like organizers, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And yeah, so we're gonna be seeing Labyrinth, and that's in March. So that was Deanna's Christmas gift. Well, one of Deanna's Christmas
Oh,
gifts.
cool.
Yeah.
Knowing that your affinity for Labyrinth, new listeners may not know this, but Joseph and Deanna's kind of their movie is Labyrinth. It's like one of the first movies you guys saw together, right?
Yeah, it was like in the flirtation stage of our relationship. And Deanna had seen Labyrinth before. Like
you never saw it?
I had never saw it
Oh, okay.
up to that point.
Interesting.
And Deanna was like, it was like that and Dark Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, we should watch this movie. And this was pre like relationship. And so she bought me the movie, and then we watched it together. Yeah. And then it was just like, and then it evolved into like a David Bowie thing, like an offshoot from Labyrinth to David Bowie. And then just like being fans of David Bowie. And then, yeah, Labyrinth has just been a staple, I guess, a staple of our relationship. Our relationship was built on Labyrinth.
that cod piece.
Yeah.
You guys have dance magic. Do you ever just dance around your house and sing that song?
No.
And you hold a Cosmo. Dance magic, dance magic, dance.
There's definitely moments where it comes up.
Okay.
For sure.
So how do you feel about Eggers confirmed now?
Yeah, that was an interesting.
I heard the
thing to unfold.
I heard the rumor.
Yeah,
that it was maybe doing a Labyrinth reboot.
Yeah.
And then now it's confirmed. He's confirmed to himself he's doing a sequel.
Yes, from everything that I've read, he's doing a Labyrinth
Seems wild.
sequel after Werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, so the next project is Werewolf.
Yeah, Werewolf. An old timey wolf movie.
Yeah.
Werewolf movie.
Made by also partnering with Focus Features, the same company he's been working with, and did Nosferatu.
Yeah, they were like, wow, Nosferatu did great. Let's do another one.
I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, Focus Features does a lot of interesting stuff. But after the success of Nosferatu, they had to have had a whole meeting and said, okay, guys, are we going to dive feet first into this and just go full on monster universe, Universal properties style?
Yeah.
And are we going to let Eggers, are we going to bring other directors into the fold and try to do a Lee Whannell sort of thing?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how Wolfman did. I don't know if it did super
not do
great.
good.
Yeah.
No. It's getting bad.
It is interesting that Eggers has gone now down is going down like a monster movie path. Because like he has Nosferatu, which is something he wanted to do for a while. He wanted to do it after The Witch, right? But now he's done it, and now it's like, okay, well, now I'll do a werewolf movie. Whereas like
a witch, a vampire,
a Viking,
and a Viking. I guess Vikings could be a mythical creature.
There's some mythology in it.
And a werewolf.
Yeah.
He could do a Frankenstein.
Yeah. We already have 2 Frankenstein movies
A
coming
mummy.
out this year.
Yeah,
And
but 2030 maybe.
watch, who was it? Universal? They were trying to do their thing.
The Dark Universe, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're like, Universal's like a fly, just like rubbing its hands together. Just like, oh God, Eggers might be our guy. We can bring back the monster dark universe.
He's like, nope, I'm going Focus Features, baby.
And Eggers is going to direct every single one of them.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know he wanted to do something, and he had a project called The Night or something that he wanted to do. I just hope he doesn't get pigeonholed into just doing like monster things.
If he's doing Labyrinth,
which I guess Labyrinth it's a fantasy, right?
He's also quoted in interviews saying that he'll never do a movie with a car in it or a cell phone.
Yeah,
never in a modern movie, which seems antithetical to doing a Labyrinth sequel,
which has machinery in it. But it's like
But she's in the real world at the beginning and at the end.
so it would have to take place exclusively in the fantasy world.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't know what that would be. He says the having to photograph a car makes him ill.
The idea of it.
The idea of it, and then having to shoot a cell phone would be death. Which
He's an interesting guy.
yeah, he's kind of like a David Lowery parallel.
Yeah, I was thinking if he's doing the night thing, it feels like it's an appropriate thing. But David Lowery
Did the green one?
did the Arthurian sort of story with the Green Knight.
Yeah,
I could see working with him for Egger's aesthetic.
yeah. I'm excited to see what this werewolf movie's gonna look like, given Egger's like affinity for like practical effects. So it's like, would he go back to like American Werewolf type of VFX with like the transformation?
Yeah,
but obviously modernize it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. It should be interesting. To see.
I watched the Frank Grillo Werewolves movie this week. It's going to be in my stream picks.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about that a little bit, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
So yeah. So the Oscar nominations finally came out.
Yes.
And I'm not like super disappointed. I'm really disappointed in one specific aspect, which, as I think are a lot of other people, they're flabbergasted as to how one of these movies would be leading the nominations.
Yeah.
And be equivalent, if not more nominated than previous other movies.
Yeah.
Such as like Return of the King or The Godfather,
Gone with the Wind,
or Citizen Kane, or something like those, which I don't even know if there was many categories back then. So I don't know if it's a fair comparison to do that. But the fact that Emilia Perez is leading with 13 nominations it's
wild.
It's offensive.
It's
offensive. It's offensive as a moviegoer and a movie enjoyer.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, it's offensive to a couple of other communities as well.
So Emilia Perez got 13 nominations, right?
Yes.
Okay. All About Eve from 1950 was nominated for 14. Titanic was nominated for 14. And then you give Gone with the Wind, From Here to Eternity, Mary Poppins, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Forrest Gump, Shakespeare in Love, Fellowship of the Ring, Chicago, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and now Emilia Perez have 13.
Oh, I didn't know Benjamin Button got so many.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So the best, go through the best pictures real quick. We got Honora, we got The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked, which seems like a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times. 9
times.
9 movies nominated. And the Academy, feels like the Academy just completely forgot that Dune came out this year and that it threw in the nominations at the end for what it got.
Challengers also.
Challengers completely.
So
nothing.
Did
Nothing.
Nosferatu get anything?
It got cinematography.
Okay.
It got like production design and costume design and makeup and hairstyling. So those are the best pictures. Best directors, Jacques, the French bastard, for Emilia Perez, Sean Baker for Nora, Brady Corbett, The Brutalist. I've heard it's Brady Corbet. I've heard that pronunciation as well. I thought it was Brady Corbett, but it's not.
Sherbert.
Coralie Fargiat.
Hers is definitely with a silent T.
For The Substance, James Mangold for Complete Unknown.
I forgot how was Mangold.
Actor, Adrian Brody for Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for the wrong movie, in my opinion, Complete Unknown. Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing. Ray Fine for Conclave, Sebastian Stan, from what I've heard, also the wrong movie for The Apprentice. For actress, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gasson for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Nora, Demi Moore for The Substance, Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here, we have actor in a supporting role, Yora Borisov for Anora, which I was pleased to see. He was really good in Anora. Kieran Culkin, Real Pain. Edward Norton, Complete Unknown. Guy Pearce, The Brutalist. Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. Actress in a supporting role, Monica Barbaro, Complete Unknown. Ariana Grande, Wicked. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist. Isabella Rossellini, Conclave, and Zoe Saldana, Amelia Perez. And then we'll skip to cinematography.
Okay.
The Brutalist, his name is LOL. Lowell Crawley.
Wow, that's interesting.
Greg Fraser, Dune Part 2. Amelia Perez, Paul Gilham. Maria, Ed Lockman, Nosferatu, Jaron Blaschke. Film editing, Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and yeah, we'll just do those.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity in the chat. So George Bridges, hi, what's up, buddy? Says, is it any worse than any other year everyone complains about the Oscars? Probably not.
Is it any better though?
It's about the same. And then Angry Otter has a great point is that the Oscars are a popularity contest between industry insiders. It has nothing to do with the viewers, which is accurate. You have to lobby for your movie.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if the voters actually watch all of the movies anyway.
Yeah.
Even if they might even just watch 20 minutes of each movie.
I say that that's morally bankrupt or whatever, but there's local city council people that I vote for each year that I'm like, yeah, I've seen that guy sign. He seems all right. I don't know his policies or anything.
The reason I've heard Amelia Perez is getting so many noms, they're really pushing for it to win, is because it used a lot of AI in the movie for the singing and some other aspects of it, I think. So they're really trying to push it to normalize AI in the industry. So
who's them though? Who's them benefiting from that agenda?
The big heads in the movie industry.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck them.
I know, right? So that's one. I don't know if it's a confirmed fact. I don't think anyone would be like, yeah, that's true. That's why it's nominated that so many times.
Yeah, you'll never know that.
But that's like a running theory. The fact that Denis Villeneuve not nominated.
Yeah, that's
for part crazy. 1 or part 2 of these movies.
Yeah,
is insane and criminal, and
someone should go to jail.
Someone should be fined, at least. Maybe taken out. I don't know.
Blade Runner, the original, was nominated for Best Art Direction, Set Direction, and Best Visual Effects, but no direction for Ridley.
And cinematography too, because Deakins won for that.
That's the original. I mean.
Oh, for the original.
I don't know about the remake. I didn't look that up.
I see.
I just wanted to see kind of that scope of a large scale sci-fi movie, kind of groundbreaking, industry changing type of a movie.
Yeah.
Did it get the respect back then or no? Not so much.
It was definitely. I don't know how the reception was for the original Blade Runner.
I don't think it was great
when it came out
originally. Yeah.
But I don't know who's. I honestly don't know who's going to. If Amelia Perez wins, that will be. The internet will be in flames. But who really has a strong chance here?
I feel like The Brutalist is the kind of front runner, but then the news about
the AI
usage feels like that's tainted it.
Yeah.
At least to me.
Yeah, it's. I was really disappointed when I read that. I think it should be removed from the category as well as editing and directing, but keep the cinematography and music noms.
Here's what I think about it. So supposedly the usage of AI in this was to correct slips in the verbiage in the Hungarian accent, right?
I don't know if it's. I thought it was just the language.
Yeah.
Like the Hungarian language.
Yeah, when they're speaking Hungarian, my mistake. And then also when they were creating, because Laszlo Toth is not a real person. He's based off an amalgamation of real architects in the real world. So when they were making these fake sculptures or buildings that he supposedly built in the story, they used generative AI to generate an idea for an initial building, but then created the building wholesale, whole cloth,
and it's weird because we had the editor come out and say these things first, and then Brady Corbett came out and was like
clarified
/ damage control. And I was like, whoa, wait.
Yeah.
Slow down, David.
Yeah.
We did this. So it's like we got two different things. And the way that AI is perceived amongst most creatives who maybe aren't even in the industry, film lovers, like wouldn't they want to keep that under wraps?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He has a benefit to keep making it seem less prevalent.
And it seems like they're pushing the whole idea. It's like it's filmed in this really old film format that no one ever uses, and then filmed for the rest of the movie. But then then you have this super modern technology that is used to enhance it, or quote unquote enhance it.
Here's how I think about it: is like I'm against the AI for the simple fact that generative AI specifically steals other people's art.
Yes,
that's the whole. For me, that's the crux of it. Using an AI algorithm to find, like, it's so prevalent that until they started labeling things as AI enhanced, there's functions of Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and Audacity and every program that we use that scans the file that you're working with, which is your data, finds it through AI certain components so that you can eliminate or increase or decrease or whatever. So it's like, if we really wanted to get down to the brass tacks, using like cutting a film on film, physically cutting and splicing the movie together, that takes, as soon as you use Final Cut, that takes away someone's job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you've distilled this whole like, well, AI is bad because it's taking away jobs down to its root core, if that's the case, then every time you come up with a new technology that takes away someone's job, it can't be used without this stain or whatever. If they're not using generative AI for the actual production of the movie, then I'm not completely against it.
Yeah, and the language thing, you didn't use like generative AI necessarily. It was like something called respeecher, which is it's like obviously based on a language. It's not like generating something. I think the problem is that people are saying it's like, well, it's not Adrian Brody's not really acting then, is he?
But if you do ADR, pickup audio sessions, and fix bad accents in the final editing, I cannot imagine that's not a very standard thing. Anytime you have one person doing an American accent or foreign language accent, and they go, "Ooh, this was pretty good, but this scene's pretty rough. We got to get Adrian in here to do a recut, and then have him do audio on top of it, cut it in after the fact." And it's like, is that cheating? They've been doing that for fucking decades, 100 years probably.
Yeah. So it's a bummer that it was used at all, and now it just has this sort of stigma on it. I mean, it would turn away people who would watch it who have the anti-AI stance. I mean, it's like it's weird. It's such a weird thing, and after watching it first and then learning about it, like a week later. Was like, I was like, God damn, I was just glazing this movie. It's crazy. Because it was so good.
Yeah. I mean, just like anything else, though, none of it's black and white. And none of it really ultimately matters in the Oscars anyways. It's like the movies you like, talk about the movies you like to talk about, share them with a friends or family. And if they win, good. If they don't, okay.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen Green Book. Everyone says that's a terrible Best Picture winner.
Yeah.
It didn't make me want to see it or not see it.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
And the people that are against it say it's similar for similar reasons that Emilia Perez has a taint, a shame on there.
Yeah.
Supposedly progressive with, whatever.
I was very elated, though, that Nosferatu got nominated for cinematography. Thank you, Jaron Blaschke.
Yes. Horror movie getting nominated is awesome.
And but if Jaron Blaschke wins, I will be happy.
Yeah.
If Greg Fraser doesn't win, I will be very upset.
So either way.
Yeah. The Emilia Perez, no. Brutalist, I would be perfectly fine with Brutalist winning because it's a beautiful looking movie.
Yeah.
But Greg Fraser deserves it 100%. And the work that Jaron Blaschke did on Nosferatu with creating specific lenses for the movie, like sets of glass to remove colors, was very, very creative, and it worked out very well for the tone of that movie.
Yeah.
And I think Greg Fraser did that as well a little bit for Dune, like had specific lens made for the movie. And then The Brutalist just has that very natural, like Terrence Malick look to it.
Yeah.
And just looks great.
Felt like a Malick movie with a more succinct story.
With a clear narrative.
A to B narrative, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this should be exciting.
Yeah. And then I guess we could do animated. I have only seen Wallace and Gromit got nominated. That's funny.
Good for him. Good for them.
Yeah, I've only seen Wallace and Gromit and The Wild Robot out of the 5 that are nominated. Haven't seen Flo yet. Wild Robot, of the 2 that I've seen, deserves it the most.
Okay.
And I've also heard Flo was really good.
Yeah, Bruce is a huge fan.
But Wild Robot was fucking fantastic.
Nice.
And it's streaming on Peacock now, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else? Editing, I don't know.
Nah, we'll wait to see. It'll be a fun year to watch.
Emilia Perez deserves nothing.
I like that. I don't know. Zoe Saldana did good.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not 100% against the movie. I enjoyed some of the.
she was
stuff
above the rim on the trash can.
there. Okay. No, I got nothing more to say about it.
Okay. Stream picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks, movies that we watched on our streaming services, so that you can watch or not watch them as well. Pete.
Okay, so I had a fun week of movies. There's some trash that I really enjoyed. And first one is a Gerard Butler action slop that is a little bit more than slop. It's like a Roland Emmerich sort of disaster end of the world movie called Greenland. From 2020. That style of movie starring Gerard Butler. I guarantee Heather's seen this and loved it, and I had a really good time with it. This is like
It's an action movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an action end of the world movie.
I thought it was like a drama or something.
No. I mean, there's dramatic stuff in it, obviously, because the world's ending. But so here's the tagline: John Garrity, his estranged wife, and their young son embark on a perilous journey to find sanctuary as a planet-killing comet hurtles towards Earth. Amid terrifying accounts of cities getting leveled, the Garritys experience the best and worst in humanity as the countdown to the global apocalypse approaches zero. Their incredible trek culminates in a desperate and last-minute flight to a possible safe haven in Greenland. So this is directed by Rick Roman Waugh. Never seen the name before. He did Kandahar, also with Gerard Butler a couple years later, 2023. He did Snitch with The Rock in 2013. Angel Has Fallen.
Oh.
Yeah. And a couple other ones. National Champions. That one got a little bit of a buzz a couple years ago.
Which movie did we review? Olympus Has Fallen?
Olympus Has Fallen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we reviewed White House Down.
No. Olympus Has Fallen, and then Paris Has Fallen, and then Angel Has Fallen.
Okay.
Something like that. From the Has Fallen universe.
That's right. That Has Fallen.
Yeah. So Greenland is streaming on Max, and it's a lot of fun. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into in like an action disaster end of the world movie, and I think the graphics are pretty good. The highlighting of the terrible and good parts of humanity is pretty good. There's he gets separated from his wife and son at some point, and he's an architect, and the whole plot of it is that they see this comet coming, and everybody knows the comet's coming, but they think it's going to miss Earth. It starts breaking off into smaller sections, and they're just destroying different parts of the world.
Oh, I thought this was like a political movie.
No. It's like Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
Or 2012.
And it's Greenland, not Greenland.
Greenland.
Okay.
Greenland. That's how you say the country name. Greenland.
So this is like Geostorm, kind of.
Yeah, it's very similar to Geostorm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we were me and Brianna were waffling back and forth whether we should watch Geostorm or Greenland.
Don't watch Geostorm.
Okay. I will do it anyways. But he's an architect, and there's a couple cool things about this because, when you're doing an end of the world disaster movie like this, you kind of have the beats. You know what's going to happen, and things are going to be difficult, and people are going to be rioting in the streets, and people are going to be fighting over food rations or fighting over their spot in the bunker or whatever. And all that does happen. But it puts a few interesting scenarios in place with the characters. Like, for example, he gets a message, a government message. He doesn't work for the government, but he gets a message on his phone. And
This is the government.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, this is FEMA, you know. And it's a message on his phone, like an Amber Alert sort of thing, that's pushed to his phone, but it also gets pushed to his house on the TV, on like cable. He's watching cable or the news or whatever. And the message pops up and says, you know, John Garrity and, you know, Elisa Garrity, you know, report to whatever at this time. You have been selected for evacuation. And when that happens, he sees it on his phone, but he also sees it on the TV. And he's having a barbecue with his neighbors. And his phone goes off, the TV goes off, and no one else's phone goes off.
Oh.
So he's like, oh, we're being evacuated. And all his neighbors are like, whoa, what about us? What about our kids, you know? And he's like, I don't know. You guys will probably be next or whatever. So there's people like begging him to take their children with him. And it's like, you get to bring one bag for family, blah, blah, blah. And some more specific things happen because they will only let certain people on. And he basically is allowed in because they need an architect in the future to maybe rebuild society. Mm-hmm. So they're almost like Noah's Arking people to this bunker in Greenland that's built specifically for this underground bunker, huge, big, large scale, and all this kind of stuff. And it's fun. It's actiony. It's you could do way worse. So this is like a great popcorn movie to watch, you know, on a weeknight or something like that. It's Greenland, streaming on Max. Next up, a very, very wholesome comedy that almost has no sharp edges or controversy or politics or literally almost anything in it that can be considered negative.
Oh.
It's almost 100% positive, and this is called The Big Year from 2011. Do you know anything about this? Have you heard of it?
Say the title again.
The Big Year.
It sounds familiar. I don't know anything about it, though.
Okay, so 2011. Listen to the cast of this, okay? Steve Martin, Jack Black, Owen Wilson, Brian Dennehy, Angelica Houston, Rashida Jones, Rosamund Pike, Diane Wiest, Jo Beth Williams, Anthony Anderson, Joel McHale, Tim Blake Nelson, Kevin Pollak, John Cleese, Bill Dowd, June Squibb, June Squibb, Al Roker.
Oh my God!
This is a freaking stacked cast, and it's from 2011. But basically, Jack Black and Steve Martin and Owen Wilson all play birders.
Oh, okay.
And they're
birders.
And there's a term in the birding community called the big year. And a big year is you're trying to identify and spot a number of different species of birds in one calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you identify it, you take a photo, you write it down in your journal, and you don't technically have to take a photo of it. You can just journal it and get credit for it or whatever. But there's like an honor system there. And Jack Black is a ultra wholesome guy that still has a full-time job and, you know, doing whatever. And Owen Wilson holds the record for the big year. It's like 720 birds he's spotted in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Martin is like an executive, and he's trying to do a big year. So is Jack Black, and so is Owen Wilson. And there's a competition between the three of them. They don't know they're doing the big year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain birds that only show up on this specific island at this specific time, only when a storm hits, and they all fly to this island at the same time. And it's like the only reason you would be at this island would be to catch this one elusive bird.
Mm-hmm.
So they all see each other there, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing on the islands?" "Oh, I'm just visiting." "Oh, okay, cool. You're not doing a big year, are you?" He's like, "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, no, I'm just an amateur. I'm just a bird enthusiast. Just happened to be taking the trip. It worked out well." "Okay, sounds good." And then they catch each other, all three, at the next elusive spot for the elusive bird at the next island in Madagascar or something like that. And they're like, "So you're not doing a big year, huh? Very interesting that you were at that place and also at this place." So then they realize that they're all competitors, and it becomes this like race to who can win, who can get the big year, who can win the big year. And there's a little bit of double crossing and a little bit of like tomfoolery and kind of like shadiness, but it never gets into like the danger territory. It never gets into the like life-threatening whatever. It's just 3 guys that are bird watchers that are trying to like see as many birds as they can in a year and become what's considered the greatest birder of all time. Whoever has the title of the, number 1 the big year, greatest birder of all time.
So, it kind of sounds like a mockumentary. The concept
yeah.
of it sounds like a Christopher Guest style mockumentary.
I can see it, but it's played very earnestly.
Okay.
So, as much as I like watching a period drama and a harrowing tale about drug addicts in America or whatever, whiplash, fight for the greatest, to be the greatest, whatever, and the gritty underbelly of jazz, whatever. It's like all these different stories. They're cool and they're great, and I love those things. But this is a great palate cleanser to like have a good time when you're watching. And this is streaming also on Max, 2011. You can easily watch it with your kids. Watch it with your grandparents. It's a super wholesome type of movie that's a lot of fun. So that's the big year from 2011, streaming on Max. And then I watched Werewolves, a movie that I was really hyped about. 2020.
Werewolves. Is
Werewolves.
it vz or
with a V?
Oh, okay.
With a V, with a Victor. You got to pay for this one. Me and Brianna have been eagerly waiting for us, but you got to rent it. So I would recommend waiting. It did not live up to the hype for me.
Oh, damn.
It is still a lot of fun, but you can wait for this.
Okay.
So, the concept of werewolves is there was a supermoon a year ago in the world, and every person on the planet had the ability to turn into a werewolf.
Okay.
On that night, chaos ensued. Society nearly collapsed. People died. It was chaos. A year later now, they know it's coming. The supermoon is coming of this year. So the government is having everybody take precautions. So it's almost like the purge. Lock yourself in your house. You have protective stuff already. Get the guns ready. Get the electrified fence ready. Keep the lights off.
Wait, once a year?
Every time the supermoon comes out.
Oh.
So they're like, this year's supermoon is going to be on this date. Everybody needs to be prepared. And they basically tell you the police force and special forces and government protection will be inactive. You will not get, the police will not come if you call. Do not even try.
Oh my God.
You're out for your own. It's like the purge. And then there are people that want to go out and be the werewolves and be the killers. So they come into the light and they're a werewolf. And
wait, so everybody's a werewolf?
everybody on the planet, if you go into the moonlight,
Oh, so
you're a werewolf. So the people in their house are fine.
so it's not like who's a werewolf and who isn't. Everybody is a werewolf.
Everybody's a werewolf. Everybody is.
Is there any explanation as to how that is?
A recessive gene in your human DNA was awakened by the supermoon based off of the alignment of the planets or something. I don't know.
What the fuck?
And Lou Diamond Phillips plays like the head of the what's the World Health Organization or CDC or something like that. And they're working on a cure. They call it moon block, like sunblock.
Moon block.
And they spray it on and it blocks the moonlight from you.
Like Daywalker. Like
Pretty much. So the whole basically the brunt of the actual story. So that's like the one line plot. The brunt of the story is that they took some people who turned into werewolves and survived from the first year, because a lot of them were shot and killed or whatever. But the people who were turned into werewolves and survived, that confirmed were werewolves, they put them in basically like a cage and apply this moon block to them and then expose them to the moonlight in this controlled facility and test to see if it works. And it works for 60 minutes. And then they turn again. So they escape. All hell breaks loose. And this one is starring Frank Grillo. And he is a molecular biologist.
Okay.
It was really funny. Much like, it felt like Mark Wahlberg being the scientist in The Happening. It's like, oh, Frank Grillo is this molecular biologist? Okay, cool. He's like ripped as fuck. He's 59 years old. He looks like he's friggin' on HGH. He's like so ripped.
Oh.
And he leaves his best friend's wife and child at home, and they're under attack. So that's the B plot and stuff. It's really dumb, but it is very fun. And the guy that did the special effects for it is the same guy that made the Xenomorph special effects. He's like I can't remember his name, but he's a legend. Rick Baker? No, not Rick Baker. It's another one of those.
Ricky Baker.
No. So the actual werewolf effects are mostly practical, but the turning sequences are digital, and the disparity from how good the practical looks to how bad the digital looks in a few of the scenes is it's distracting, you know. So they mixed the CG and practical, and it's like there was enough of the budget, and it was a pretty small budget, to get practical creatures in a suit. So the people in a suit when the fight scenes are happening is practical, but then when it does a transformation, it cuts back and forth between that and like some kind of dodgy CG of the actual transformation. So I think that overall, I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun, but it's not a great movie. But then again, it's a movie about a supermoon that turns the entire world into werewolves on a single night. So, I mean, what do you expect? So, you got to rent that one. It's like $20 for rental still. I would wait till that hits streaming.
Okay.
Saw a couple other ones, but those are pretty much the big ones I wanted to talk about.
All right. I only watched one movie.
Oh, wow.
I've been watching SpongeBob a lot.
Really?
Yeah, it's been on a lot in our house.
Wait, SpongeBob who? SquarePants?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Mr. SquarePants.
Oh, okay.
It's like I've been doing other stuff, and Deanna's been doing other stuff, so it's just kind of on in the background. And so I'll like be doing something, I'll finish doing it. It gets like to be too late to actually watch a full length movie, so we'll just continue watching SpongeBob. It's on streaming on Prime. The early seasons, solid show, still very funny. But I did watch a documentary that is also streaming on Prime, and I believe it's been mentioned here before.
Okay.
This is The King of Kong.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, it's on Prime now?
A Fistful of Quarters.
Okay. I got to recommend people to watch. This is so good.
This was a very entertaining watch. This is from 2007, and it's a short movie. It's an hour and 22 minutes. The plot of it is that we follow Steve
Wiebe.
Yes, Steve Wiebe, who is just a ordinary dude who gets a arcade cabinet of Donkey Kong, and he also has OCD, or they say he has OCD, and he's very obsessive, so he just plays that all the time. And he has like kind of a mission to become the world record holder. And the current world record holder from like the 80s was Billy Mitchell, who is the biggest prick in the world.
All my homies hate Billy Mitchell.
And he's got the worst hair you've ever seen. To have that ego and to have that hair and style,
hair and beard combo
with the cell phone on the belt is it's a bold move.
American flag tie.
Yes. And he is such an asshole. This dude, Steve Wiebe, he's a teacher. He becomes a teacher at one point, like a science teacher, and but you know he moonlights as a King Kong world championship or World Guinness record.
It's like a competitive King Kong player,
and he just wants to be that. That's the one thing he wants to have,
get the highest score
in his life overall to achieve. That's what he wants to achieve, and he films himself. He films a screen in his garage of beating Billy Mitchell's score, which was like 870,000 at the time. And he gets over 1 million points at
He
films it. He submits the tape to Twin Galaxies, which is basically the Guinness
organization.
Guinness's contact for anything arcade related.
They have their own record keeping.
Yeah, and
competitive video game.
And that's in Florida, and Steve Wiebe's in California, and Twin Galaxies essentially disqualifies Steve Wiebe's 1 million point score because he didn't do it live. So he's like, okay, I'll just go and do it live then.
Yeah.
So he goes to Florida and he sits down in a chair and he plays King Kong for hours.
Like
or
6 hours.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah.
Donkey Kong for hours. And he beats the score. And he gets like 900 something thousand. Not as much as his tape score. But he still beats the record. And Billy Mitchell has a little fucking spy there.
The ref.
No, not the ref. There's another guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot that dude.
Yeah, the ref.
Some weasel.
The ref was a little bit more neutral.
Yeah.
But still
leaning on Mitchell.
Yeah, definitely. Because they're like Billy Mitchell's like the hero of these guys, and his little lackey that he has, you could tell that. You could tell that he's getting nervous when he's like getting closer to the score of beating Billy Mitchell. He's like that guy, the messenger delivering bad news to the boss.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, he's getting close. He's about to approach a kill screen.
Yeah.
And he's just on the phone. Billy Mitchell. He's such a coward in this that he doesn't go do any sort of confrontation. He meets him like once, and he like just walks around the arcade while Steve Wiebe is playing, and he's his wife. He's like trying to show off his wife at the time, and she's got like these fake tits. And
no, there's anything wrong with that.
And he submits a tape of him beating the score that Steve Wiebe just beat, and they accept it.
They accept
the tape. And then you feel bad for this guy because like I just came here from California.
They accept the tape
to do a live score, a live play, and you're just gonna accept this guy who lives like 10 minutes away.
Yeah, really.
You
told me mine wasn't accepted.
Exactly. It was such bullshit. And nothing like there's no like character development of Billy Mitchell. He stays an asshole the entire time.
He was a prick. He's still a prick.
And he's not the record holder anymore. Steve Wiebe ended up beating that score that Billy Mitchell in the tape that he says he beat, although it kind of alluded to the fact that he maybe tampered or cheated.
Did something to the board. Yeah, the game board.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, on the tape, the left side of the screen was glitching or something. And like they don't ever investigate it in the documentary. But after the movie's over, they say that Steve Wiebe did beat the record, and then Billy Mitchell took it back, I think. And then later they disqualified his Billy Mitchell scores.
Yeah.
And now somebody else beat both of theirs in like 2021 or something. I can't remember.
Two fantastic characters though, Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell.
Yeah. And you know, Steve Wiebe, he's got like a wife and kids, and he's a teacher, and he just has this hobby, obsessive hobby of playing video games. And then there's like some subplots in the documentary about this Steve, what's his name? Oh, Roy Schilt, who's like a super rival of Billy Mitchell for some reason.
Oh yeah, he's helping Steve Wiebe.
Yeah. He's like
take down the king,
advising him or mentoring him or whatever. And then Billy Mitchell has like a hot sauce line.
Oh yeah,
Ricky's or whatever.
So Billy Mitchell sues anybody who like talks bad about him on the internet. And
so he's kind of like he's like Danzig a little bit, or like
or that social media monster guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
What the fuck his name is? I can't remember.
Yeah. But
good. I'm glad you watched it.
But yeah, it was a really entertaining documentary, and it's really short, super fun, and you just get really really mad at fucking Billy Mitchell because he's such an asshole.
What a scumbag!
I know. What a piece of shit. But yeah, that's streaming on Prime. It's
I co-op that. Absolutely watch that.
It's very good. And that's all I have.
Cool. Awesome. I guess that's it for the first half. You got anything else you wanted to say to the class?
No.
Cool.
I don't.
All right. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties. It's over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. We have Heather and Michael in the chat. If you want to support us, please do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or just watch or listen on the YouTube page. That helps too. If you tell your friends and family, movie lover friends of yours to subscribe as well, I think they'll enjoy themselves, and it'll help us get to our 1,000 subscriber goal. Until next time. Thank you for joining us live as we talk Oscars, Amelia Perez, and The Brutalist. All kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Follow us later in the week, or later today if you're on the live stream, as we review The Town.
The Town.
That's right. Follow us on Facebook.
Why isn't this movie The Town?
Facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And leave us a voicemail at 209-283-1716. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middleclass Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
Damn. You did two people in one. I know. All right, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Everyone in this room is now dumb.
Welcome to Otter.
I'm about to have the hardest boner right now.
You dirty little mushroom.
I'm gay.
Fucking liberals. I used to live batteries all the time. That's my wife.
Oh, it's time for class. Class is in session!
Roll call.
Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And no Tyler,
No rootin' tootin' Tyler over there.
no Count Orlock Tyler, no Tylo Ren, no Tyler Perry.
This show is my affliction.
um,
That was my Count Orlock Tyler impression.
he's out for the count, so he says. Resting at home. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's not.
Maybe riddled with disease.
But we're here, and this week the Wheel of Destiny landed on my pick, The Town.
People get up every day, tell themselves they're gonna change their lives.
People do get up every day,
That's true.
They never do.
Deep though,
you know.
I'm gonna change mine.
Hey, what do you know about bank robbers?
I'm thinking about one dog. Taking heat. Are you gonna change?
There's people I can't let you walk away from.
This is the last one. We hit pause after this.
If we get jammed up, we'll hold them court on the street.
Town.
Town, comma, the.
Town.
Why isn't this movie The Town?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It is The Town. It is The Town.
Where did that come from, anyways?
We don't know. We don't know. A drop that was pulled in 2021.
Yeah.
From some episode before that.
I know that it was Tyler complaining about a movie. He was giving a review about some movie. I don't remember which one. And he said, I would have liked it more if it was more like The Town. And I remember thinking that was a really funny comparison. Like, if only it was, I wished it was more like The Town.
Why doesn't this star and Ben Affleck? Why isn't it directed by Ben Affleck?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't there more bank robberies? Why isn't Jeremy Renner a loose cannon? And then that's where the drop came from. Why is this the town? And that's why this movie is being reviewed today.
Is that the main reason for you?
Yep. Because of the drop. I had no real desire to watch it. Just based on my
no desire to watch the movie.
I had no real desire to watch it.
So put it on the wheel.
Just like, separate from the podcast.
Yeah.
I
wonder if Ben Affleck's got what it takes.
God, it wasn't like I was, living my life thinking like, man, I really want to watch The Town. Maybe someday.
One day, God willing, we'll be watching The Town.
Did
you watch it with Deanna?
I watched the last half with.
She's like, you can do this one without me.
I watched the last half with Deanna. I watched it in like 2 parts. She wasn't around for the first part. But yeah, so we're reviewing The Town, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck as the lead character, Doug McCrae, also starring Rebecca Hall, John Hamm, Jeremy Renner, Blake Lively, George Carroll, Owen Burke, Titus Welliver, Pete Postlethwaite, and Chris Cooper. But mainly Ben Affleck,
Jeremy Renner,
John Hamm, and Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, Rebecca Hall.
Blake Lively's role is really small but important towards the end of the movie. Or it has a big impact towards the end of the movie.
Couldn't find anybody from Boston to do that part. Could have just pulled anyone off the street to do a better job.
I'm pretty sure they filmed it in Boston.
Yeah,
so
I know.
They had countless shots of the cityscape.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool because me and Deanna went to Boston over the summer of 2024, and this takes place mostly in Charlestown, which we did not go into. Which I'm glad we did. There's so many bank robberies.
You could have been robbed.
I know.
If you were a bank.
I know. If I was in the bank.
What if you were a bank?
If I was a bank in Charlestown, I would during this time. But it was cool to see the city because Boston was a really cool city to visit. The Town is about a group of thieves with Ben Affleck being the sort of lead of these gang who are very proficient at robbing banks and armored trucks carrying bank things, money. And the beginning of the movie is them robbing a bank, and Ben Affleck sees Rebecca Hall's character and is like, she's hot.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, so I'm going to start dating her.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but not really.
Yeah.
She gets
abducted. They take her, essentially kidnap her because they want
collateral. Jeremy Renner's character wants collateral.
They want collateral. And Jeremy Renner's character is
the loose cannon.
He's kind of unpredictable, unhinged, is what he is. He would beat that poor guy on the ground in the bank in the beginning
for no reason.
Yeah, no. And then he
for next time. Now he'll know.
Yeah. And then he takes Claire, who's Rebecca Hall's character, and they take her in the van and they drop her off by the water and blindfold her and tell her to keep walking until she touches the water. And then they meet up later after the job and say like they took her driver's license with her address and like, oh, she only lives like a few blocks from here.
It's like shit.
Yeah. So they are gonna essentially. Jeremy Renner says that I'm gonna follow her, stalk her.
He's like, I might need to take care of her.
Yeah.
And it alludes that he might kill her.
Yeah.
Or something, or beat her up, or intimidate her in some way. So I think Ben Affleck decided to do it on his own terms because he's a thief with a heart of gold.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get out of the biz.
He's the prince of thieves.
Yes. John Hamm plays the FBI lead in this investigation of bank robberies.
Forgot he was in this too.
Yeah, I had no idea he was in it.
I've seen this once before.
At first I was like, John Hamm, he's like playing a serious role. At first I wasn't, but then I actually did like his character and like his portrayal of that.
Are you used to seeing him in comedic roles?
Yeah, I didn't watch Mad Men.
Oh, okay.
So
it's hard to see him as anything but Don Draper.
Yeah.
For a long time after I watched that show because he's so fantastic in it.
But I enjoyed him in this in the end, and I really liked Jeremy Renner's performance in it. And yeah, they're just really good at robbing banks, and it gets all twisted up because Ben Affleck starts dating start seeing the person they kidnap in the very beginning. And so there's like a very strong conflict of interest there. And then Jeremy Renner catches him dating her. And then it becomes this whole whirlwind thing. And then Pete Postlethwaite plays the guy who organizes the jobs.
The florist.
Yeah, the florist. And he has this Irish accent because they're in Boston.
Yeah, he's like true blue Irish, true green Irish.
And he plays Fergus Colm. Fergie. What they call him? Fergalicious. And it gets to a point in the movie where Ben Affleck wants to get out, and then we get the last job of his story and of the movie. But yeah, this was my first time watching it. Pete, you said you watched it before. Tyler, I don't know. Rizzler, how about you?
Yeah.
So Pete, what did you think on your rewatch? How long ago did you watch it the first time?
On not in like first release, but like home video release, but probably 2011, something like that. And I remember liking it well enough. I remember liking The Fighter more, which was kind of the same era, also Boston centric, also about local Boston, like local legend or whatever, I guess. And funny enough, Affleck wanted Mark Wahlberg for the part of Jeremy Renner originally.
Oh, really?
He wanted Wahlberg, and he was too busy doing The Fighter.
That's funny.
And it ended up being their only Oscar nomination was for Jeremy Renner's performance.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, so it worked out really well for them. And at the time, I remember thinking, this is fun. I didn't expect much out of Ben Affleck as a director. And, you know, it's a crime caper set in Boston, kind of doing what he knows. Like, I feel like that's right, exactly what I would expect for him.
Yeah.
For Ben Affleck. But I remember liking it pretty well, pretty good. And, but not really thinking about it much. I was like, looking back at it in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, it was a pretty fun crime caper. And it had a few fun side characters, but not a ton. It's not like Ocean's 11 where like all of the guys in his crew are all magnetic and interesting and all have different personalities. He's got the kind of big boy, tough guy friend who drives the truck. He got the kind of like mousy, quiet friend that is like the tech guy that works for Telecom or whatever. Vericom. And then, of course, Jeremy Renner as like the loose cannon brother from another mother who it felt like when they were having that barbecue scene where the FBI is watching them, I was like, oh, this is Fast and Furious, but with bank robbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're family, you know, and they break bread together. What kind of a family doesn't share a beer with a real brother or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was like, it was cool, I guess. Rewatching it again, I feel like not a whole lot of people are giving great performances in this outside of Rebecca Hall. John Hamm does good. I don't think he's given a ton to work with, but I like him. But like Ben Affleck, I don't know, I didn't care about his character. He's like, you know, I'm getting out of all this mess and blah 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 blah, and you're just like, okay, shut up. I don't care why. You know, what do I care? But Jeremy Renner is really, really crushing it. Like Jeremy Renner and Rebecca Hall are doing great. And the subject matter for Rebecca Hall, it's like there's some interesting stuff there, like dealing with like the PTSD of, you know,
being held at gunpoint.
Yeah, being held at gunpoint and then kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I thought, on a rewatch, I thought, man, they're leaving a lot of interesting stuff on the floor with her character and what she's gone through and how she reacts to it. And then I found out the original cut was 4 hours long. And that makes a lot of sense because I feel like there's so much to explore with this, but they glanced over a lot of the interesting stuff and they spent the time working, basically highlighting the relationship and fast tracking that through the story. And it was like, I just didn't really particularly care. Like Ben Affleck is just kind of a dumb dope in this. And yes, he's nice. And yes, he's wants the best.
I don't know if he's master planning these heists.
I understand that. That's what they said. I didn't get it from him. From his performance, I didn't get that he was this criminal mastermind.
I guess you don't see him really planning any of them.
Correct. That's what I mean. It's like you don't show me lead me to it.
Yeah. It's just like they just have the plan already.
And it's because the FBI says he's the criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's Doug McRae's the guy right behind it all. And you're like, yeah, he is, I guess. But until they said that, I didn't really put two and two together with it. He didn't drip like intelligence.
He wasn't the accountant.
Definitely not the accountant. There's the one scene where him and Renner are talking about, he's like, "When are we gonna do in the next job? It's not ready yet." Well, I want to make it fucking ready. And he's like, the next job has a guard that thinks he's G.I. Joe. That's dangerous. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. I like that. A little bit more of that. A little bit like get me to know that character, to care why he's trying to get out of all this stuff. What his tragic backstory is just told in one exposition dump, which was super clunky. It was like Rebecca Hall says, tell me about your mom or whatever. And he's like, oh, she left when I was a little kid. And she's like, that's it? And he's like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I was a little kid. My mom left.
Yeah.
And then he gives his whole story about making the Lost Dog poster for his mom and stuff. And it's super sad and it's super tragic and stuff. But it's like, that's about the extent of it. That, and then the rap sheet scene from John Hamm explaining who they're dealing with and who they think the actual perps are. So I just felt like a lot of that stuff, it didn't emotionally land well. And then Blake Lively is just terrible. She's...
Good thing she's not in it that much.
No. She's just, every time when she comes in, you're like, man, she's really trying hard with that Boston accent. Like, really, really trying hard.
Yeah.
And
I'm from Boston.
Yeah. Oh, you want some papas? I was just in the bathroom. I'm gonna stick some in your fucking drink, dude. And like, she looks the part. She looks like that, like, trashy townie that you would expect. But I don't know. She just didn't. Her part wasn't doing it for me. And maybe it's because you're so juxtaposed to Jeremy Renner's fantastic performance that it makes hers look even worse. But it's like, Ben Affleck is seamless because he's from Boston. Everybody else, I feel like they're giving like a legitimate local legend, local sort of accent. And then hers is just through the roof. It's like playing to the back seats.
She's an implant.
Yes, she's trying to earn her paycheck. So, I didn't really love that part of it, but still, it's a pretty fun movie, and I think the action sequences work. The shootouts were interesting. The car chase is kind of interesting, and it's not like a super skilled driver stuff. It's just a couple of guys, a couple of knuckleheads knocking off a bank. They get stuck in a weird position, and how do they get out? And I always like that sort of like it's grounded, the chase sequence. When they're in the van and then they get boxed in and you're like, how the fuck are they going to get out? And then the Jeep comes in and it's their friend in the nun mask and he's like, come on, let's go. And they torch the van and jump in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. They boxed him in the back alley. They lit the getaway car on fire and off they go. I could see that working. And then the obviously the big action set piece at the end when they rob the stadium.
Yeah.
You're like, that's intense.
Yeah. It was.
And I'm watching it with Brianna and I'm like, she looks at me and she goes, I don't know if they're going to get out of this one. I'm like, I don't think they will.
Well, because you're like, well, what are you
going to do?
Yeah, there's so many fucking cops out there.
Yeah.
It's surrounding the place.
Assimilating in as a cop is a great way to get out of those situations, but especially when you're playing off like the Boston PD and the FBI together and the fighting there and stuff. It's like that's so all in all, I still think it was a fun movie. Not as interesting or kind of memorable as the first time I watched it, but I will take away that Jeremy Renner's performance, he deserved the Oscar nomination because he was head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
My knowledge of this movie extended to they dressed as nuns to rob something, a bank, Arbor truck. And I would say that I felt like the only good actor was Jeremy Renner, and everybody else did they did their job, and then Blake Lively underneath everything else.
She's a step down.
Yeah. I also did not care for the relationship thing between Affleck and
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah. I didn't care about their getting away together or I cared less about that, like way less about that than like the heist scenes and them being professional bank robbers. I the car chase sequence with the minivan was really good. It was really well done, I think. Navigating through those really narrow streets. Kind of felt like the chasing from like Bullet or something.
Yeah.
And it felt real. It felt like you said, it felt grounded. There was like one moment where they like make this really sharp turn and the tail of the car almost like clips the corner of a building. That was really good. And the actions, the sort of the main heist at the end was very intense, and I enjoyed that part quite a bit. Everything else, it felt like between those parts, it felt like kind of like a slog a little bit. I was like, all right, let's get to the next job. Let's go. I liked when they go to and just beat those guys up randomly. Like she tells the story like she was harassed in walking through the project. They threw a bottle at her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I'm going to go beat the shit out of him now.
Yeah.
But I think that scene was a good part to really show how unhinged Jeremy Renner's character is.
Yeah.
Because he takes off his mask and then he shoots him in the leg twice. And I was like, okay, he doesn't even know why he's doing this.
Yeah.
He's just a violent person.
What'd you do? What'd you do to my brother?
Exactly. And in the movie starts off with like these quotes basically saying that being a criminal is like a genetic in this town, in Charleston.
It becomes a family trade.
Yeah, in Charlestown. And like you don't escape being a criminal once you're in the world of doing that, I guess. And the thesis of the movie, I guess Ben Affleck becomes the antithetical to that theme of the movie, right? Because he wants to get out and go to Florida. And I enjoyed I enjoyed the way the movie was made. It had a nice grit to it. One specific moment towards the end, and this is going to be a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen the town, when they're in that final shootout and they're dressed as cops and they split and they're walking away, and John Hamm gets the clue, got Mr. Exposition over there giving like an interview or something, or not interview. He's like telling another cop or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the security guard said that the 2 cops came in.
Yeah. I think they're crazy. Simple to wackadoo.
Yeah. And then John Hamm is like, huh? And then,
wait, cop, you see, huh?
Cop. And then,
start shooting cops.
And then he's like, yeah, I can't trust anybody.
They're all the criminals.
I know. Pulls out 2 pistols. And it's just, and then, he's walking around and sees a cop walking the opposite direction with a bag. And obviously it's gotta be him.
Yeah. It's definitely suspicious at the very least.
And then from that moment on, it's like, I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, what's he gonna do? What's gonna happen here? And then that moment there, that like standoff scene was really well done. And then here's the spoiler part. They kill Jeremy Renner.
Great death scene.
That was what I was gonna say.
Oh, that's so good.
the dying part, this is weird. The dying part, and then like him just lying there. Like it felt like I was watching the news.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like I was on Live Leaks or something.
Yeah.
It was eerie, but it was really well done. And
how his eyes just get like that, and he has like that puffed up part on his face where he gets shot.
Yeah, he's like basically ragdolled.
Yeah.
Against the pole or whatever, and like when in a dramatic movie, in another like dramatic movie that is like this, someone gets shot. They get shot directly in the middle of the forehead, or in the middle, or on the side,
temple or
something like that. Yeah. This, it's just like right, like in the cheek, and then like in the chin or something. And it's like a really small detail, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And I like the way the movie looks. Like I said, it has a really nice grit to it. It feels like I don't know if it was filmed on film, but it has that feeling of it. And there's like this, it kind of has this illusion of a grand scope because they keep showing shots of the monument, like the mini DC monument in Charlestown. But it's a really contained story that is like halfway entertaining, and then like kind of, like I said, kind of a slog between the robberies and the action sequences and the shootouts and the infighting between the gang. Once the twist is, or not twist, I guess, the reveal of that he's dating the witness.
That was a great scene too when he shows up at the coffee shop on the outside patio.
And then the tattoo thing,
Yeah.
that doesn't really come into play. Like she sees the tattoo, he covers it, when he's like escorting him away.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't come back. And there was a moment in the movie where I thought that she just knew that he was the robber.
When was that?
Like towards the third act of the movie, where she says, "I know who you are."
Oh yeah.
I was like, I thought that was her saying that she knew he was the robber.
The editors got you.
But then
they got you.
But then what was he saying? What did she mean by that? Just like, was it like a more metaphorical thing?
Yeah, it's more as a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, oh, you're alone and you're looking for redemption.
Because then,
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was some shit like that.
Because then the FBI agent,
you're a scared little boy,
was like, here are the guys. You recognize him?
Yeah.
And then I thought she was like, at that point she knew already.
Yeah.
So like when he came back and she was like in the bathroom crying and stuff, I was like, I thought you knew already.
You got hook, line, and sinker by the editor.
I mean, I don't know if that was the intention though.
I think they're setting you up for that, and then she says, "Oh, you're just this guy sort of person," and then you're like, and he breathes a sigh of relief too, and it's like, "Oh, I thought she got me." So you're led to believe that.
Oh, does he? Does he do that?
Kind of.
Oh,
yeah, very, very minuscule.
Oh, okay.
When Ben Affleck gives her the money, buries it in the garden. Do you think that's a curse to have stolen money like that?
Does he give her all the money?
It's half.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think because he uses a lot of it to donate for the hockey rink.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In his mother's name.
I mean, it like a burden, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, I might have all this cash.
Yeah. Cool. I have $150,000 worth of cash that I can't do anything with.
I mean, you could piecemeal it.
Yeah, I guess you could just live your life over the course of the next like 5 years.
Yeah.
Slowly spend it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how you would you can't just go to the bank. I have this bag of cash I would like to deposit.
Yeah. Where'd you get it? So one time, long time ago, I pulled out a big sum of money to go buy a car, cash.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to like plan it. Like they don't just have $15,000 sitting there.
Yeah.
In the bank.
Cold
So
hard cash.
I told them, I said, I'd like to pull this money out, please. And they're like, we don't have that on site. Like, really? I mean, based off the movies, you think you would at least.
But the movie said
at least $50,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, I mean, we can get it for you probably tomorrow. It's fine. We'll just call it in from Central or whatever they said. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm not in a huge rush for it or whatever. But I had to like report what it was for. And I had to like fill out some forms for like large deposits and large withdrawals. Sometimes you have to ask for that. Specifically if it's cash.
Yeah.
If I made a big deposit into the bank from like a retirement cash out certain thing I needed to do to fix something in the house, and it was like no issue. It just took a couple days of delay till it actually the full funds were available, but I didn't have to fill anything out. If that was if it was like $40,000 cash, they would have said, okay, we need to know where this is from. Are these like bank like winnings from the casino? Is this like
yeah? Do
you own a cannabis dispensary, or something, So I feel just as soon as I saw that, I go, well, good for him, but what the fuck is she gonna do with all that?
I know, deposited over the course of fucking 10 years.
Yeah, it's like John Hamm was like on her like a pig on shit.
Yeah.
Or fly on rice or what fly on shit.
Pig on shit.
White on rice is the word I was looking for.
Fly on rice.
Yeah. So he's on her like a fly on rice. And then he listens to the conversation. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Florida. Wish things could have been different. See you later, dude. And then she's like, okay, well, she's not a suspect anymore. Okay, we'll never talk to her again.
Yeah.
Like 2 days later, she's digging in the garden and finds this fucking money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the legalities of, you have this third party who is associated with the criminal, but they're helping you, kind of. But there's no, like, she does the whole, like, sunny days thing to essentially tell him not to come. And
that was a nice touch.
Yeah. And because he's watching her, he knows that the cops are there.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there anything that is like binding her to be charged with anything? I mean,
no. I mean, she alludes to that when she's being questioned immediately after the first heist.
Yeah.
She's like, should I get a lawyer? And he goes, I mean, if the ACLU's here, I'll never say this, but only guilty people get lawyers. And you're like, wow, fuck, really?
Yeah. And then his line, John Hamm's, when he goes, like, we're national, right? And like, I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's not gonna. They know what he looks like. They know his name. He's going to Florida. He's staying stateside.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going international. It wouldn't be that hard to find him.
No.
Unless he lives truly like a hermit.
Yeah.
And he's living in a goddamn shack.
Changes his name or something.
Yeah.
It's different identity.
So it's like at the end of it, after the movie's over, he's still gonna get caught.
Yeah, probably.
So then, what's all this for? He kills Fergie. Oh, the spoiler.
Yeah, I liked that scene. I liked how he kills his grunt too.
Oh yeah, let me tell you something.
Hey, things went south. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, has he not shoot himself in the head with a bullet that go through the head and hit his own head?
I guess
I
think he went from top down, back of the head. But
he was thinking that he might. He's like, I don't want to shoot myself because I'm going to put my head next to his head, so I'm going to angle the gun that way.
Smart,
probably.
You wonder if he rehearsed that?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to accidentally kill myself. That would be embarrassing.
I killed somebody else and myself with one bullet.
The one thing that I think is goofy about stuff like that in movies is he would be fucking deaf. A gun goes off right next to his ear on the back of the guy's head. It's like right here, head ear to ear with the guy, and he blowed. It's like you wouldn't hear fucking shit for like an hour.
Yeah, it also happens in movies where they fire guns in cars, and it's like,
oh yeah,
like they do, like other movies do it where they do like they do include like the sound effect of or the side effect of being near a gunshot. But other movies, it's just like going off just in the car and everybody's fine.
In Snatch, Vincent shoots off the shotgun in the back of the car and blows the windows out, and he's like, gets it to replica or whatever. I think.
Maybe
not. Maybe it's not a replica. Maybe it is a replica that shoots off. But anyways, in Baby Driver, they use it, also featuring John Hamm, to deafen Baby. He puts the gun next to his ear and shoots it off to deafen him.
Oh yeah, I forgot
and it's
about
like
that.
That is right next to his ear, and this is probably 6 inches away from that.
Yeah, and in that it's more of
unwatchable, the movie because of that.
Wait, this one?
Yeah.
This one. Okay. But
it's based off a book. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Prince of Thieves.
Oh yeah, I did say that at the end
by Chuck Hogan.
I did say that at the end.
And it's same characters, everything. Boston bank robber forces a manager, Claire Kesey, to open a vault. She sets the alarm, forcing the brown bag bandits to take her with them.
The brown bag bandits?
That's what they're called in the book.
Oh. Are they like old-timey robbers?
Yeah, see, you're going to open this book. You're going to open
Where
up this
are
vault
the brown bag bandits, you see?
FBI agent Adam Frawley and Boston detective Dino Dean identify them as suspects all too easily. Claire is caught between the affections of Doug, the gang leader, ensuring that they cannot be identified, and Adam using her to track the gang. There were chapters breaking down the flow. Okay, yeah. So it's got like 4 stars on Goodreads, 4 stars out of 5.
Oh, on Goodreads.
Yeah. And then also Joe Bridges in the chat mentioned that it has a strong resemblance to the movie called The Friends of Eddie Coyle from 1973, starring Robert Mitchum and Peter Boyle. Rest in peace, Peter Boyle, and probably Robert Mitchum. But it's about a Boston gangsters who one of them may or may not be turned on each other to turn informant as an FBI informant, while also selling guns to the same people from the world. So not so much of a double cross in this movie, but a lot of stuff that's reminiscent. And Ben Affleck cites The Friends of Eddie Coyle as one of his favorite movies of all time.
Oh, okay. So the original cut for this movie was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And the studio, after Affleck cut the movie down to 2 hours and 50 minutes, so still near 3 hours.
That was his choice, right? He said
Yeah,
he knew no one was going to watch it, or somebody said no one's going to watch a 4-hour movie directed by you.
The studio and producers loved the 3 hour cut, or almost 3 hour cut, but they wanted the film to be no longer than 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then Affleck was happy with the theatrical cut, and he said that an extended cut on the DVD and Blu-ray will feature deleted scenes on top of the cut footage. And he also said that while the theatrical cut of The Town is a close adaptation of the novel Prince of Thieves, the extended cut is more true to the book. So I guess there is an extended cut on the physical version of this. Like earlier, you said he wanted Mark Wahlberg for the role of Jeremy Renner's character, James Coughlin, but he was shooting the fighter. Casey Affleck suggested Jeremy Renner because he worked with him on Assassination of Jesse James.
I forgot about that.
Which also has like a gun, like a short gunfight scene in a bedroom.
Yeah,
where they're shooting on these, obviously like it's a Western, so these old pistols, all these old like 6-shooters, and they're just like clearly missing each other, like when they're like 5 feet away from it, and then they like get shot. I think Jeremy Renner gets shot.
Yep.
In the like the chest or something, and spoiler, he dies in there as well. And that reminded me the gunfight with Fergie in the florist. That scene reminded me of that scene in Assassination of Jesse James, because they're like literally feet away from each other.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of missing.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell who was getting shot.
They both did, but
Yeah.
Ben Affleck had a bulletproof vest on. He came prepared.
And then he shot him in the balls.
And it cuts to black as if that killed him, which I think is funny.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have your balls, then what are you?
I thought that the ending felt almost like the ending of Shawshank Redemption. Like
It did.
The shift in tone seemed so weird, like antithetical to the story.
It felt very abrupt.
Yeah.
Just like, and I'm gone, and I'm in Florida now.
Yeah.
Apparently Zack Snyder, this is the movie that Zack Snyder convinced Zack Snyder to cast Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh God. What? I'm not surprised, but really, that's dumb.
Yeah. That's kind of
So in the trivia, this Ben Affleck cites specifically The Friends of Eddie Coyle as an influence, but also The Departed, Heat, and Mystic River. I could see The Departed for sure.
I like to think
Not enough backstabbing.
I like to think that this is Ben Affleck's. He just is directing a movie about his character from Good Will Hunting and what that guy did after the end of Good Will Hunting.
I feel like he wanted to make an ending that felt like Good Will Hunting's ending, but just failed.
Yeah, maybe
because it's like that. He's on the road and he doesn't get the girl, and
yeah,
she goes and lives her life, but it's probably for the best for both of them or whatever, or maybe not for the both of them, but definitely for her.
Yeah, that's I don't even remember his character's name in Good Will Hunting, but he played like kind of a he like a shitty person, you know, because he lived in the same house as
Chucky.
Will Hunting.
Chucky was his character's name. No, because he picks him up every day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Every day I come up and pick you up. I wish you don't walk out that door.
But he's the one who tells the girl, right, that he didn't go to. Like, because Matt Damon, Will Hunting, he decides not to go to Harvard or whatever, right? He just drives to California.
Something like that, yeah. I think so.
And then Ben Affleck is the one that breaks the news to whatever character is looking for him.
Yeah. Stellan Skarsgård.
Robin Williams.
Probably both of them.
What was the girl that he was interested in?
It was, I can never remember her name. Let's see here. I'm on the page right now. You'd think she'd be top billed, but she's not.
Really?
It is Minnie Driver. Skylar, the character's name of Skylar.
Oh. The cinematographer, Rodrigo Prieto.
We're back to the town.
Yes.
Okay.
Back to the town. He was the cinematographer of Amores Perros.
Oh, cool.
And Ben Affleck told Rodrigo that he copied the whole car chase sequence from that film and implemented it in the town.
Wow, that's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a whole lot of that.
I mean, I don't really remember a car chase sequence from Amores Perros.
It was much smaller, much shorter.
Yeah.
It's more like car crash, I think.
More of a car crash.
Yeah, than a car chase.
Did he do? Oh, no, he didn't do it. Robert Elswit did the cinematography for The Town. And he also did it for There'll Be Blood.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Punch Drunk Love and Nightcrawler.
That's cool.
So he got a proficient DP for this movie. I mean, it looks good. It looks great.
So listen to this. This is an interesting piece of trivia. The film was originally set to be directed by Adrian Lyne, who was the director of Indecent Proposal, Jacob's Ladder, Fatal Attraction, 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance, like 80s and 90s.
Flashdance.
80s and 90s movies. And then nothing, Lolita. And then nothing until 2002 for Unfaithful. And then nothing until Deep Water in 2022.
Deep Water, the one with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it was a 20-year gap in his filmography, but in 2010 he was set to direct this, and he had a falling out with Warner Brothers, so they asked Ben Affleck to step in.
Really?
They're like, "You're from Boston, right?" It feels like when they asked Norman Jewison to direct Fiddler on the Roof, and he's like, "You guys realize I'm not Jewish."
What do you mean?
I'll do it, but
yeah,
I know it's right in the name.
I think it's funny that so Ben Affleck does this, and then I know Matt Damon didn't direct The Instigators, but you have The Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, right?
Yep.
And set in Boston as well. It's like there are other cities.
Also, the first time you see Ben Affleck on screen, he's wearing a
he's wearing a Harvard.
No, it's Bruins. It's a Boston Bruins.
Oh, is it?
Jersey, and it just says Boston across the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if Lady Bird? You see Timothy Chalamet show up, and he just says Sacramento on the back of it.
Like, I don't know if I
wonder
would.
Where this is set.
Yeah. I don't know if I would wear a shirt that just says Sacramento on it. Like a shirt with a picture of the Tower Bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I see, I'm getting off topic here, but I see Sac merch and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't know if I would wear it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's kind of cool, but it's so on the nose for a movie.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, it's like a movie set in New York City, and then the person's wearing a shirt that says I Heart NYC.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I love it here in the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps.
Here we are
Town
in
of broken dreams and big shoulders.
Boston.
Windy City.
Here we are in Boston. I'm sad Tyler's not here to do an impression of Bostonian.
Next week, Tyler, if you're listening and you've
maybe we could do an impression of Tyler doing an impression of a person from Boston.
I feel like my Boston accent would be no better.
Boston.
Yeah, Angry Otter's got it. He's got the written accent. Boston.
We're from Boston.
Okay, dude.
Big fans of Red Sox and water. I don't know.
Fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. Shake Shack. Anybody?
Shake Shack?
Yeah.
Is that big over there?
Yeah. It's huge over there.
I tried it. I had it one time in an airport and it was all right.
I never had
the bun was sweeter than I was expecting, and it was good though.
Yeah.
I got some more trivia.
Okay.
Originally, the studio wanted the novel's original ending, where Dougie is mortally wounded during the shootout with Fergie, and then dies in Claire's arms in his apartment.
Huh. Wow.
They filmed that ending, but test audiences didn't like it, so they did the version that they used.
We don't like it.
We want Ben Affleck to survive and become the Batman, dude.
The Boston Batman.
Boston. The scene where the cops turn away, literally turns the other way.
Yeah.
Is based on an actual event.
That was so funny when that was actually that was so comical when they were dressed as nuns and they're just direct eye contact.
They're getting ready to like go into their apartment, and the guy's like, "What do I do?"
He's like, just turns his head.
Turns his head.
That was so funny.
I mean, you've heard the phrase "look the other way."
Yeah.
But when you see it in application, it's
he literally did it.
Literally look the other way.
That was so funny.
I know. What would you know what the next step is?
He's one cop
with all these guys with like Tech 9s.
Yeah, and they all got assault rifles or and these automatic weapons. And what are you gonna freeze?
Yeah.
You're in a terrible position. You're sitting in your car with the window down, profile. No.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous situation to engage, and he's just like, you know what? I'll literally look the other way. That's fine.
I see nothing.
Yeah. In the 1920s, Chicago mobster Dan O'Banion ran a flower shop as his front for bootlegging. Just like Fergie, the character in the film, he was eventually gunned down and killed in his own flower shop.
Oh.
The actual event was also recreated in the series Boardwalk Empire.
Ah, okay. I'm wondering what a Boston Batman would be like. Boston Batman.
He just smokes. That's the only difference. He's wearing a Carhartt.
This city deserves a better. I can't even do it. You know what? This city deserves a better class of criminal.
He's got a hoodie and a Carhartt over his Batman ass suit.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I do like how you can almost really easily spot the costume design in these movies, because Boston, especially like the type of person that they're portraying in these movies, is considered like a working man. So a lot of Carhartts, a lot of like warm workwear, gold chains with crosses and stuff like that. It's like, I know I'm a fucking criminal, but I love Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
I still got to give my heart to Christ.
I know. I did enjoy Jeremy Renner's like, I'm not gonna go back to prison. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna die doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
it's commitment.
I did like the turn though with him, because I didn't expect that he killed that guy when he was 18 for Dougie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'd only find that out when he's trying to leave town, and he's like, you ain't gonna fucking leave.
You ain't gonna fucking leave.
What about what you got here? And then it eludes, for one, fakakta, a ridiculous conversation. He's like, Shine's not mine. Are you kidding me? And you're like, this is the first time they've talked about it?
I know.
Like, this is the first time they've had a conversation about whether
and his kid.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is a kid. Shine's a kid.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know. That was pretty ridiculous. But I did like where he's like, I didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that for me, but you did. So I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Basically stopped a guy from killing Dougie.
Yeah.
And got 9 years for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 9 years for murder seems light.
The for murder, execution style. When they get cornered in the stadium and they get flashbanged.
Yeah.
The guy,
the young kid
who has like no lines.
He has the telecom guy.
Yeah.
Vericom. He's got a few lines.
But he's like in compared to like in terms of like seniority or he just, the way he dies, he's just like standing there and he just gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
It was very I don't know. He just looked like a zombie standing there.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that, mainly because when you're stunned like that, he just lost his bearings, and it's just enough to stand up and be like, whoa, what happened? And then boom, you're dead.
Yeah. I like the other guy who drove the ambulance out.
Chubby dude, yeah.
Yeah. And the cops are just shooting.
Yeah. There's a scene where John Hamm shoots a shotgun at Jeremy Renner's character.
Yeah.
And there's people behind him too. You're like, well, I guess fuck those guys.
I know, right?
Fuck those citizens on the street.
Especially with a shotgun.
A couple things. The guy that gets shot in the head, he's a local. He was 20 years old when they picked him up to do the film. This is his first movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a troubled youth. Got caught in some gang activity, and they gave him a shot.
Oh, okay.
I thought he did fine for the small part he had. And then also that scene where John Hamm's character is chasing Jeremy Renner's character. It's a really, really interesting chase around the car.
Yeah.
Where he's shooting at him on the ground, and like John Hamm's like slipping and sliding around the car in the gravel. And I'm like, that's a really good, really well done physical bit that I think is a lot harder than people might give it credit for, because that was legitimately terrifying.
Yeah, because he just has this big gun.
Yeah, he just lighting him up on the ground, and he's like, they're like running around this Buick like a Three Stooges skit.
I know.
Scooby doing it. But John Hamm was like, he did a really good job, and I don't know if that was really a stunt actor or not, but I thought it was him.
Yeah, and then just them walking like like he's not even running away. He's just walking with his bag. I mean, he's already shot this gun, so the attendant's already on him, and the cops are already on their way. At least he like wanted to die at that point. He's like, it's almost like he just accepted that, like, I'm not going to get away, so I might as well just fight back as much as I can. It felt like a very anti-cop movie, which I appreciated. But at the same time, it was like the whole FBI thing, a national organization. It's not going to take long, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I was entertained by it, but it's not something I feel like I'm going to revisit again in the near future.
No, it didn't have enough of the action tense scenes, which were really effective in the movie. But yeah, the love story thing was, I could have skipped that. I could do without that.
Jack says he gave this 5 stars. He fucking loves this movie.
He fucking loves it, dude.
I want to hear Jack do a Boston impression,
please,
because he did a Californian impression.
Did he?
For us on the show. See if I can find it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was, and he was. I mean, it wasn't overtly a California impression. Let's see here.
Guest drops.
Yeah, guest drops. And Jack.
And we have lists.
Oh yeah, you don't know that?
And you have people's names, listeners.
That's his California accent.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else he did was he said was Australian.
You know, you don't have to do the Australian accent around us, Jack. You know, you could drop it.
I know it's just fake. Yeah.
Oh, they can't hear it.
Oh, they can't?
No, not off the.
Oh, that's some bullshit. That sucks.
I could probably put it on here real quick. But yeah,
I can't believe they can't hear it from there.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. But yeah, so that's the town. Kind of a mid movie.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think it's above mid for me.
Yeah,
it's entertaining and it's shot well and it looks good, and there's better versions I think of this movie, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be
the confused one, right?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
There you go.
I don't remember that.
That was his impression of the scene from Saw. When the guy's like, what's your name? And he said, I'm very fucking confused. What's yours? I don't remember that line because I don't really remember any of Saw at all.
I remember Saw 1.
I remember there's a Saw involved. It's from Saw 1.
I remember Saw 10. I never saw Saw 7.
Yeah. All right,
Anyway,
you want to grade this? Or what?
Let's put this thing to bed. Pete.
It's a tough one to grade. Like, I don't want to be too harsh on it because I feel like it's a good, entertaining movie, but there's enough cheesiness that takes itself too seriously.
When it's good, it's good. When it's not good, it's mid.
I give it a B minus. I give it a B. Yeah, it's a B. It's a B movie with starring Jerry Seinfeld. And yeah, I mean, you could do a lot worse if you haven't seen it. It's worth watching. Erase Blake Lively out of it and more Jeremy Renner, and I think it would raise it, half a letter grade.
B+.
B+, A minus, something like that. But yeah, good enough. And
yeah,
it's the town. I mean,
it's the town.
Yeah.
Why is this movie the town?
Yeah. What?
Why is this movie the town? There's a new one.
Yeah. Thank you. How about you?
I think I am like a B- on it. It was kind of a slog. It was like kind of half uninteresting and then half really interesting with the heists. I just wanted more of that. I just wanted more of the actual. I want to see the planning. I want to see them getting the names of the guards, and like learning about their families and the address they lived at.
That was impressive.
Like and maybe the 4-hour cut has that. I don't know.
Probably. He also wasn't reading that off a sheet. He memorized that.
Yeah.
So I guess I just talked myself into him being a criminal mastermind.
Yeah, he is the accountant. I want to see like a crossover now. The town and the accountant.
The accountant. The accountant.
The accountant.
right, that didn't work.
But yeah, it was mostly entertaining, but then you have the sort of forced in like weird love story that I just didn't care about. So
All right.
B-. All
right.
Now it's off the wheel, and now it's time for the wheel.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
All right. Town's off the wheel. We talked last week a little bit about
changing the
format.
Format.
And we were going to talk about it with Tyler this, before the show started, but he's not here, so we couldn't do that.
He's gone.
So
we didn't ask what he thought about the town.
I think we can all agree that we really enjoyed this movie, and this was a masterful piece.
Oh, okay, I don't know about that.
Yep, that's definitely. Okay. So we're doing a possible restructure, and then we have a few different options here. The question, though, is if we really do go into seasons, topics, seasons, rotate through. Themes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Subjects, whatever.
Topics.
Semesters.
And then we take spring break and summer break. And Thanksgiving break and winter break.
We could do that like a free-for-all.
We get Memorial Day off.
Hell yeah.
Or Martin Luther King
MLK Day, yeah. That's right. But
Halloween,
but
maybe?
not Arbor Day.
Oh, no.
So if we do that, though, what happens to our movies on the wheel is the question.
Do
we have them here. Like, are we still going to work through these?
Maybe we put the themes on the wheel.
Maybe.
What theme for this month?
We could just have all the themes and then use that for the next month. Like, that's what we cover for the next month. But still, what are we going to do with these movies that are here?
Oh, the current movies that are on there. Like, when do we roll it out?
Yeah.
Is it a gradual thing, or do we just?
No, I think we do the format change. It's going to be done. We pull the Band-Aid off. Next week we start with a new format, whatever that is.
Okay. Or, I mean, we replace the movie with a theme until it's all themes on there.
We could. What I suggest, and you tell me if you're into this or not, is we just continue to pick these movies at random until they're gone. Basically, we get all these off the wheel. We've teased these movies to the audience. We just have this is it. We're gonna no new movie on the wheel.
Okay, we go all the way to the end
until this is empty, and then we start the new season,
and then
new format.
And then the next week is the new format.
Correct. I mean, we'll probably I would want to, if we're gonna get the Patreon members to choose the movies from that topic or from that subject.
Yeah.
Want to give them some time to vote or put their 2 cents in, so it wouldn't be just 1 week and done.
We'd have to be working in the background.
Yeah, I'll be doing some stuff off hours to make sure that we get that communication out. But once we're down to the last 2 movies,
a
couple weeks from now,
and the themes could be anything.
Yeah,
it could be
Bruce Lee movies,
an era. It could be Bruce Lee movies. Could be a director's movie.
1950s.
Could be a genre specific.
Billy Wilder movies.
Blaxploitation movies.
Yes.
Could be French New Wave movies.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
But we'll do, all 3 of us.
Movies starring Blake Lively.
Oh God. Yeah. We still have time to play with the format. But are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I was gonna put Purple Rain on.
Oh, okay.
That was going to be my next pick, and I'm sad I'm not going to because I bought the special edition 4K just released.
I mean, you can still talk about it.
Well, I think what I want to do is I won't say what I want to do, but I'll tell you after the show because I have an insider for that.
Prince, you know him?
I knew him.
Oh,
I knew them.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, I knew the symbol.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I guess for now we're not going to replace anything on the wheel.
Okay. Well, I'll just watch these movies on my own then, I guess.
All right. So now we're down to. And there's going to be a lot more Patreon interaction for the Patreon Cool Ass Yard Duties to basically select the movies that we review or something like that.
Within the
topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, let's recap what's left on the wheel. We have Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 from Joseph. Oh, speaking of which, that's our highest rated or highest downloaded movie in the last 3 months on YouTube.
Really? The Paul Blart one?
First part 1.
That's funny.
Yeah. Falling in Love movies from Pete. Hell Comes to Frogtown from Pete. Teeth from Tyler. Killing of a Sacred Deer from Tyler. All right. Here we go. We're going to spin this.
What if it lands on a blank?
Yeah, we'll spin again. Okay.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
And
Oh, what is that?
it's spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Is that an homage to Gummo?
It has to be. It has to be. There's also a spaghetti eating scene.
You got a weird looking dude eating spaghetti.
There's also a spaghetti eating scene in it's I don't know if it's Relaxer or Vulture.
Relax.
Let me see.
Don't do it.
Huh? Please clap.
There's a movie or a guy who makes interesting movies.
Guy eats spaghetti.
Let's see here. Joel Portricus.
Is
Joel Portricus.
Is that a filmmaker?
Yeah, he's a director and star. I'm sorry, no. Joshua Burge is the star of his movies. And it is, let me see here. Revenue Relaxer. Maybe it is Relaxer. Oh, Buzzard, that's it. Buzzard is the movie I'm thinking of.
Buzzard.
Yeah, he gets a bunch of money, a little bit of money, and gets a nice hotel room and orders room service and just eats spaghetti. And it falls all over his chest while he's eating it. Yeah. So, anyways, there is another spaghetti eating scene in this movie, in Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
And we don't know why Tyler picked it, but we'll find out next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's here.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't have the vid.
Yeah, if he actually does have COVID, I don't want
then
him
he can't
here.
come
I
at
don't
all.
want him here. Yeah. Get him out of here.
Stay as far away as possible.
But if that happens, I guess we'll do an audible. I don't know. We'll do something else.
We still review it.
Yeah, I guess so.
We did that, but what Roadhouse?
We did Roadhouse.
Was his movie.
There was a couple movies he chose and then wasn't here. What a chaotic life he lives.
Doesn't know what he's going to do anytime he wakes up.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, you got anything else?
I do not.
Okay, let's see here. Heather says nope. I'm not sure what she's referencing to.
Nope.
Change is scary, says Jack. But he does like the idea. All right, let's put together something.
It's been 5 years of this,
Pretty much. Like we spent, I think we reformatted after a year.
We changed.
Split it into 2 episodes.
The
after
grading
2
system.
Years.
Yep. Took us a year to figure out, like, it's school.
Yeah. Put actual grades instead of scores.
Yeah.
And then we split it into 2 episodes after episode 100. So that was 2 years then.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Anyways, thank you to our cool-ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch us on the YouTube channel. That helps, too, without having to support. Or pay, I should say. Oh, yeah, Heather says no was about the not having, you can't hear the audio. We'll figure out how we get that. I think you have to add a USB input level sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And but when you do that, sometimes it doubles.
That doubles
the
the
audio.
yeah.
Anyways, we'll figure it out. So until next time. Thank you for joining us as we gab and chatter. We talk about the town and we discussed format changes. That's gonna be fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Follow us next week as we review Killing of a Sacred Deer from Yorgos Lanthimos, Tyler's pick from the Wheel of Destiny. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And leave us a voicemail at 209-283-1716. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
All right, it's been a blast. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.